Got a desire to squeeze a Demogorgon? Here's your look at the McFarlane Toys. This is the Stranger Things Squeezable Dart. Sure, Dart was cute in the beginning, but you knew eventually he would grow up and become a Demodog and then a Demogorgon. This comes to us from the second wave of McFarlane Toys Stranger Thing figures that also include Will, Mike, Barb, and Punk 11. So we're going to go ahead and get this review underway by first figuring out how big Dart is. I feel like he's a little bit bigger than he was in the show, but nonetheless, from the end of its face, if you want to call it his face there, to the very end of its tail, we'll stop it right there, and right there. There we go. According to the tape measure, you're looking at Dart standing, or lengthwise at least, 4.5 inches long. And that switches over to centimeters as being almost 11.5. Okay, to be more exact, it's 11.4 centimeters long. Now, I know that Dart does grow up quite quickly, I might also add, starting from a very small tadpole size to, well, the size of a Demodog. But let's do some size comparisons to some of the other figures that would have been released at the time. Let's bring in, for example, Mike. We'll just put Mike right there. I know what you're thinking. Why are you bringing in Mike as a comparison? It's not Mike's pet Demodog after all. Okay, well, why don't we bring in... let's bring the camera up a little bit as well. Let's bring in Dustin. Probably makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it? We'll also bring in Punk 11. Still love all these figures, really. And very pale, malnourished Will. There we go. Put them all right there. The only figure, actually, I really didn't pick up from this wave, and it's somewhat ironic, really, when you think about it, is Barb. She just went missing. And yet, ironically enough, also, I think she was a peg warmer, just so happened not to be a peg warmer in my local areas where I was able to pick up the figure itself. But as you can see, there is Dart right in the middle, right squaresies in the middle, and some of the other McFarlane Toys Stranger Thing figures all around him. I suppose, seeing that Dustin did own Dart in the series, we're going to just keep him in frame for the time being. Now, of all places that you would imagine I would have picked this up from, some are shouting Toys R Us. You don't have to shout so loud. Some are also saying Walmart. No, colleagues of the mob. Actually, where I did pick this one up was at the dollar store of all places. I think Dart, most generously, was being asked $2 for it. And when it's all said and done, there's really not a whole lot to be said for young little Dart here. But I assure you, though, it is legit. It's not a knockoff. There's, after all, the packaging. You can see down below, it does say McFarlane Toys. I'm looking for a year. I don't see a year. What I do see is Squeezable Dart. That's what the front of the package looks like. Normally, I don't spend a lot of time discussing packaging. But I just want to show you, it's legit. This thing existed at some point. McFarlane Toys released it. The mindset, I suppose, that people wanted a squeezable Dart. It did work because, after all, I did pick it up, and we're having a look at it right now. I'll just move the packaging out of the way. I'm sure we'll bring that back in. Maybe we will. I don't know. Maybe we won't. Let's have a look at Dart. Now, it is Squeezable Dart, and I don't honestly get what is squeezable about it. I know somebody's going to immediately shout out to me, well, his body is squeezable. No. I get that, but what I don't get is what purpose it serves by making it squeezable. The body is made of like a plastic rubber, more rubber, I would say, than plastic. And it does have air holes in the bottom, but it doesn't have a wireframe tail, so you can't manipulate it, you can't bend it. It's essentially a glorified dog toy. I would not probably say give this to a dog, but I'm just saying, like, the material kind of makes me feel like it is a dog toy. To its credit, it does have some decent enough coloring. It's got the lighter yellow here, of a yellowish lime green that works its way into the otherwise swamp-colored green that makes up the majority of Dart's body. The underside does have some brown running from tail to the front flaps of its face. Again, if you want to call it a face. And the body kind of feels like there's stuff inside. Some sort of stuffing Kind of feels like it could be beans. Like, imagining, if you will, if you were to pick up something that was a bean bag that was made of rubber and just so happened to look like dart. This is basically what it does feel like. It feels like I'm squeezing a rubber bean bag. But the thing I don't get, though, is what specifically squeezing it is supposed to do. I don't know if it's supposed to be a gimmick necessarily, because when you're squeezing it, yeah, I suppose the flaps of the face open up. But I think it would have been much more successful if they could have somehow molded it where it was closed shut like this. It's not really even something that you can pull off yourself. At the end of the day, you're really only going to be holding it shut like this the whole time, feeling like a complete idiot that you're holding a rubber dart with its flaps folded in. If it was at least like this, and squeezing it would open up these like the petals of a dangerous flower, I could probably explain it a little bit more. But with the petals already open up, the face already pretty much fully visible, those look like eyes on either side. But it really doesn't do much of anything else. Squeezing it doesn't open it any bit further. I guess it does stretch them, but I don't know if I would consider that really opening up the flower petals. Again, if these were just closed shut like this, it would make much more sense. Here's some detailing. We'll just open up the flap so you guys can see the inside there. There's the teeth, top and bottom. It would be nice if they had darkened the colors in the middle there, just to kind of make it look a little bit more like a mouth. And then you've got these spikes on the interior of the petals. Again, that's really all it does. I don't get why McFarlane Toys would have even released this. At the very least, it seems like a very last-minute concept. They wanted to check off all the boxes. For example, I mean, they are, after all, making the Stranger Thing figures. Maybe they wanted to cover off all the other bases as well. They've already really given us a Demogorgon, so we can check that off. They haven't given us a Demodog, which would have been nice if they could have. But then I guess they wanted to give us that some way, somewhere down the road, they wanted to give us a dart. A posable dart certainly would have been cool if it had posable legs, for example. And maybe at the very least, if the center section here was something you could squeeze, and this would actually open and close the petals. Instead, what you're ultimately getting is something that, well, I'm not surprised at all where I ended up finding it. And let me just tell you, when I did see these, I never saw them before up to this point, and they're still there now. Not just one peg, not just two pegs, but about 6 pegs worth of these darts just warming the pegs. I don't know if anybody really is going to get on board picking these up. I only really picked it up because I was more strange by the idea, see what I did there, the idea that this would even exist. And I definitely want to do a review of it because I know most people probably would have looked at it and thought that was just a knockoff toy. No, this is something that McFarlane Toys actually designed, actually packaged, actually produced, and actually shipped to the stores. By the fact that you are seeing so many of these, at least I am, at my local dollar store, I can tell you they probably didn't sell all that well when they hit the initial store pegs. So, is the McFarlane Toys Stranger Things Squeezable Dart a big bowl of weak sauce? Yeah, it is. Companies, of course, do take shortcuts from time to time, or at the very least when they want to release specific characters. There's only really so much that they can do with it. NECA Toys was kind of notorious for that with the electricity gremlin from Gremlins 2. Ultimately, it was just a sheet of translucent blue plastic. It didn't do anything. It's just something you put on the shelf. Something I kind of regret after the fact, surprisingly enough, I didn't pick up and review. Because after all, I did see a whole ton of them after the fact. They just couldn't give away those things. But McFarlane Toys kind of is that same thing. When it came to releasing a dart, could they have made a more posable version of dart? Perhaps. But I guess maybe consumers may not have jumped on board paying, I don't know, maybe $10 or so for something that has posability and something that has posable, maybe flaps to his face. A Demodog and a Demogorgon would be something much more entertaining, I think, for collectors. Not many people probably would get on board a dart, so I guess they realized that and just simply made something that was rubbery and something that was squeezable. I mean, squeezable is, I guess, a marketing strategy for how they can advertise this. At the end of the day, it really just is a glorified dog toy. I do want to stress this again. Do not give this to your dog. I don't even know what's inside Dart. But it's kind of weak. And for what it is, I suppose, if you want to just simply display Dart along with the other Stranger Things figures that you've picked up along the way, I guess it serves that purpose. But I can definitely see why it didn't sell all that well. And my local dollar store had so many of these. I have to stress this again. They had so many pegs of squeezable darts. Pick this one up if you're a completionist. Maybe you had picked up the other Stranger Thing figures and wanted to get this one as well. Sure, why not? You can find it at your local dollar store, most likely for about $2. And I think I wouldn't pay anything more than that, retail-wise, maybe about $5. If it was closer to $10, I laugh loudly in the store and I call shenanigans. I would never pay almost $10 for this, but a couple of dollars at the local dollar store, yeah, why not? If you manage to pick up this for yourself, most definitely let me know down below, colleagues. Let me know what you guys think of Squeezable Dart, or just based on this review and this review alone. If you guys also want to go back and watch some of my other Stranger Things reviews, there's a playlist for you. And also, if you want to go back and have a look at some of my other McFarlane toy reviews, would you believe there's actually a playlist for that as well? It's almost like I planned this whole thing. Make sure as well you hit that subscribe button down below. You don't have to go to the upside down, but you may have to go to the sideways side. Okay, that's weak. Hit that bell notification to guarantee that when new videos are coming onto this channel, you'll never miss out. And future videos, my friends, will be coming soon to this channel, so keep your peepers peeled. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.